So it's been a while since I've done one of these, but I have moments, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. I really wanted to talk a little bit about the filibuster debate that's going on within the Republican Party and the conservative movement. And I want to start by saying I am very much ideally, philosophically against ending the filibuster. I want to make that clear up front because some of you might get the wrong impression by what I'm about to say. I think the filibuster needs to stay. I think it's an incredibly important parliamentary reality that prevents either party from just winning the government and then swinging it wildly one way or the other. The pendulum's already out of control, but it would just get incredibly stupid if they ended the filibuster. But that said, I've heard the laments of those on the MAGA side. Again, I have MAGA, let's say, sympathies, and some might even go so far as to call them leanings, but I would not consider myself what some would call MAGA. I'm an independent conservative. And so here's the reality that we face. If we don't end the filibuster, at least this is what is being said, the Democrats are going to do it the next time they get into power. So why would we handcuff ourselves and not do what we need to do, only to have the Democrats then come in, do what we were unwilling to do, nuke the filibuster, and run away with the government as they see fit when they come back into power. Of course, we know the pendulum always swings, so eventually the Democrats will be back in power. That's just the way American politics works. Well, here's the question that we have to deal with is, if we know for a fact that the Democrats are going to do that, then what the Republicans are saying makes sense. What Trump is advocating makes sense. We should be the ones to nuke the filibuster and get the advantage of being the first to make the moves in the upcoming political battles. And I can hear many on the left side of the conservative party, the what we might call a true centrist, getting mad about this. Well, principally we shouldn't be the ones to do it because we have to uphold our principles. Well, here's the thing: if they're gonna do it, then our principles be darned. It's like those people who try to claim we should still be doing things the George W. Bush way, the George H.W. Bush way. Well, we sat with conservative Republican presidents, quote unquote, and just watched the country absolutely continue careening on to the left because the unconstitutional fourth branch of government, known as the bureaucratic state or the deep state, whatever you want to call it, continued to have the country going in that autopilot direction. It just went there a little slower because we had a Republican in office. So what do you have to show for this? You have a handful of magic beans. The country never recovered. It never went back to the right. The Overton window kept sliding leftward. No matter what you did, no matter what victories you won, no matter how many Republicans you put into office, the country, the last time we had the Republicans do anything that actually moved society was Newt Gingrich, and he was pretty much shunned after he was out of Congress. The Republican Party treated him as quasi persona non grata because they didn't like all the things that he did. And I'm sitting here going, well, wait a minute, that was the last time you actually won. So do you not like winning? Is that the problem? What's going on here? So the thing about the filibuster really is we need to, and this is, I've kind of heard various ideas on this. I'm giving you my take on an idea that's already been floated, and I don't want to take credit for being the progenitor of an idea that it's not mine. But the reality is we should float a constitutional amendment that says the voting threshold in the Senate will now be 60 votes. And if you can't meet 60 votes, it doesn't pass. So basically a permanent filibuster. Everything requires 60 votes to pass. If the Democrats say no, what they're really doing is they're announcing their intention to nuke the filibuster when they get in, because the only reason why you wouldn't set that is because you're eventually going to change it yourself. When you get in, you're going to undo because right now it's just a rule. It's just a Senate rule. There's no actual constitutional mechanism that requires 60 votes other than the Senate parliamentary rule for when somebody is talking and you need to get them to step down to pass the bill. They can keep talking unless 60% of the Senate, or 60 votes, tell them to knock it off and sit down. That's how a filibuster works. So either you set a permanent filibuster, or you're telling us that your intention is to nuke this filibuster. And if you're determined to have that war, if that is a war that you are going to have no matter what, then we are going to go ahead and nuke it and take the first shots in that war. It's kind of a test boat, if you will. Are you gonna really mean what you say when you get up there and you say we need the filibuster? It's Chuck Schumer gets up there and he talks about how it's an institution of the Senate and it is critical to our ability to hold government, from going off the rails. Well, Mr. Schumer, if you really mean that, then let's vote and make it happen. Let's make that real. No more, this is a Senate rule that either party can just throw away when they get in power. Now it's going to be real. Okay, now you have to have it. So that's my suggestion. I think it kind of meets all the criteria in that it gives everyone a chance to make it constitutional, make it the way that it works. And if they say yes, then we have nothing to worry about. When the Democrats get into power, it's a constitutional amendment. They have to get to 60 votes, just like we have to get to 60 votes, and everybody's even Steven across the board. If not, well then, guys, if you are determined to have this war, if you are determined to lower that threshold so that one side can just trample over the other and rampage over the other, then okay. I really don't suggest having that war. I don't suggest having that fight. I think that's a really bad way to do it. But if you want that fight, you can have it. Please don't. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the filibuster and the quote-unquote fighting that's going on in the right. Simply float the constitutional amendment. Either the Democrats get on board and that becomes the rule, or at that point, I have no problem looking at the Republicans saying you did everything you could do, and if they nuke it at that point and do the first shots in this war to set the country on the right path, making it harder for the Democrats to come in and change all that, then so be it. We tried to do the right thing. We tried to set the rules solid, and we got shot down on it. So, all right, guys. Anyway, I hope you are blessed. I hope you are doing well. I hope that you continue to be so until we get a chance to chat again. All right. Take care.